What's going on, guys? Welcome back to F123 for My Team Career Mode Season 3, Round Number 2, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. We're back here at Jeddah. We had a pretty crazy race here in Season 2. That was, of course, the first time we raced here. So this is going to be the second time, but this time it is the second round, not the first round of the season. We've already had Bahrain. We finished that race third last time out, so that was pretty good. And we won this race in Season 2. Now, we've just put a personnel upgrade on for, I think, fitness. Just, you know, we got a bit of money to spare going around, so we might as well get that. Carlos Sainz is the first driver we're going to go for in Season 3. Out of all those three, he was the one that I felt the most comfortable about being able to beat. So yeah, that is who I've gone for, and this is what R&D looks like going into round 2. So Ferrari have overtaken Mercedes as the quickest car on paper. Then it is Mercedes, then we are still there in third place. We've gained a little bit on Mercedes though there, but yeah, Ferrari's gotten a bit further ahead. And then it's just kind of the usual behind of Aston Martin, McLaren, Red Bull and Alpine, and then a bit further back to everyone else. So here in the nighttime under the lights in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. So yeah, like I said, last season we won this race. Quite lucky from what I remember. I think we qualified like 10th, 9th or 10th. Didn't have a great qualifying, and then we were doing okay in the race, but in the end I think we had a safety car pretty close to the end of the race, and the strategy we went for really helped us out and we won the race. It was really close, you know, the top three, because it was me first, then it was Gasly second and Hamilton third. It was a super close top three in the end. It was really close at the end, and we just managed to sneak the win in. So we'll see what we can do here with the third fastest car on the grid. Q1 goes ahead and is done, and yeah, no real surprises going out here. Zhou has managed to outqualify Bottas, getting into Q2 there, so that is good for him. It's now one apiece for the Alfa Romeo pair. Get on to Q2 here, and yeah, I believe this was my, well, it has to be my second run. I'm way down the bottom here because my first run did not go particularly well, just was a bit of a scruffy lap and didn't quite get it together. So may have had a little bit of traffic as well, I'm pretty sure, so didn't quite get it together on my first lap in Q2, but we're going here for our fastest Q2 lap, and it is going to be good enough to get us into Q3. But yeah, car feels decent here. Not amazing, but pretty decent. We ended up P5 in Q2. Alonso's up there in P2. McLaren showing some pace with Norris up there in P1, but it's a bit of a shock for Charles Leclerc, especially here, not making it through to Q3 in the Ferrari, which is supposedly the quickest car on the grid. Charles Leclerc not making it to Q3, so he's been out-qualified by Tsunoda for the first time this season. Sainz also not making it through to Q3 for the second time in a row, so still not made it to Q3 in these first two races for Red Bull. So Verstappen will get the 2-0 to him at the moment in the quali head-to-head. But yeah, Alonso's having a better time here than he did in season 2. Remember, he had an absolutely terrible time here. When he was at Aston Martin last season, he spun I don't even know how many times and pretty much finished dead last. There was like 2 safety cars, and even then he was just constantly spinning the car around. Well, he's showing some pretty good pace here, P2 in Q2, and yeah, as we're going through our Q3 lap here, this was a pretty decent run. That corner there especially, I mean, look how much time. I think on my first run, it was once again where my first run wasn't very good because I made a bit of a mistake coming onto this section here. But we're now over 2 seconds up because yeah, we went really slow towards the end of my last run because it just wasn't a good lap time. As you can see, we're currently sitting P10, but we're hoping to do better than that in quali here today. I'm not really sure what to expect, but I'm hoping for better than P10. It's currently Verstappen in P9. Remember that. That's a Red Bull, not amazingly quick at the moment, but as we come to cross the line, we are going to qualify in P7. Looking at lucky number P7, we seem to get there quite a lot. It's Lando Norris, though, who showing very good pace in the McLaren. You know, it's only like the 4th or 5th quickest car on paper on R&D, but he's up there on pole position. Yuki Tsunoda's there in 2nd for Ferrari, so it's good for him. And Alonso's up there in 3rd, ahead of Hamilton in 4th, so good qualifying for Alonso. He's out-qualified us for the first time in this second race of the season, so let's see how this race goes.
Welcome to one of the fastest races in the entire calendar, and while it's one of the newer races on the F1 World Tour, it's already staked its reputation as a fan favourite. It's Jeddah, and it's the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah street circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Yuki Tsunoda completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Davies, De Vries, Ocon, Verstappen, Leclerc, Gasly, Sainz, Zhou, Iwasa, Albon, Sargent, Bottas, Stroll, Doohan, Liam Lawson, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Alright, so here we go for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in Season 3 of My Team Career Mode. 5 red lights are on for a long time, but they eventually go off, and we are underway on the medium compound tyres with pretty much everybody here, apart from some in the bottom 10, as we don't really have anywhere to go into turn 1. It's a good start for us, but a good start for everyone ahead as well. We just have to watch Piastri as he gets past Russell in through turn 1, turn 2, so it's a good start for the Australian McLaren driver. We just sit here and continue our way in 7th place from where we started. It looks like there's an orange dot out front there, so it looks like Norris has kept the lead at the start of this race as well. He's going on for, I believe, what would be his 4th win, maybe his 5th, I'm not 100% sure, in Formula 1. But yeah, here we go, down now into the kind of, I don't know, the spoon curve. It's not the spoon curve from Suzuka, but it is a curve that's kind of like a spoon, the way it's shaped, the big hairpin sort of corner there, as we head back the way we came, basically, down this next section here, using as much ERS as we can, because the AI really like to drop a lot of ERS on the opening laps, and that's why we're actually struggling quite a lot to keep up with Russell and the cars ahead. We've got De Vries, the driver, behind us in the Mercedes. We know the Mercedes is quick. Hamilton won last time out in Bahrain. He won the race, first race of the season, and he's currently sitting up in P3, P4, I think. So we know the Mercedes is quick, and to be honest, De Vries getting into Q3, yes, they've got the second quickest car on paper, but for De Vries to actually get his car into Q3, honestly, it's a bit of a surprise. I didn't really expect it. So lap 1 goes down. We've unfortunately not made any moves, but yeah, long way in this race left to go. At the front though, at the end of lap 1, Yuki Tsunoda is going for the move for the lead on Lando Norris, and he has taken the lead. Yuki Tsunoda now just about leads the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, but Norris now on the outside has got the run down as they head down the main straight into turn 1. It's going to be side-by-side action as they head into turn 1 here. Tsunoda going for his first win in his Formula 1 career. He's had one podium with my team last season, but that is it. So he's got a good chance here at a win with his teammate all the way back in P11 and having the quickest car on the grid up there at the front. Norris is starting to maybe struggle a little bit here, because now Fernando Alonso, my teammate, is all over the back of the British driver. He has a look around the outside, but as Tsunoda actually locks up into the hairpin, that lets Norris actually get back into the lead of this race. He goes from defending for P3 to now back into the lead, but Tsunoda is going to fight back. I'm not sure he has DRS though, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be 3 wide. Yes, it is, but between the 3 leaders going into turn 1 here, Norris has just about managed to make that move, or at least stay ahead of Tsunoda now. Tsunoda is is under attack from Alonso, but Alonso just can't quite get his car positioned right. Tsunoda will hang on to P2, and Piastri also trying to make moves in this race, but he's actually now coming under fire from George Russell, who, yeah, he got past Russell at the start of the race, but now Russell is going to try and go round the outside of the hairpin there. Very brave move from George. And they're still going to be side by side as they head through this very tight right-hander, then a left-hander, and Russell has gotten himself past, and I think will pick up the DRS as well, so that is a very good move for the British driver, and we're now right behind these guys. We all very close, having a look at the inside of Piastri, and we've made that move stick. Very audacious move for us there. I wasn't quite expecting to go for it, but he didn't have DRS thanks to Russell getting past him, so we just took the opportunity while we could. He's now under threat from De Vries, and we are going around the outside of George Russell, but he breaks later than us into the final corner. Piastri's still there on the inside as well. We've lost a little bit of room, a little bit of space to Russell, but now with the DRS, with him not having it, he tries to shove us to the inside, but we're going to place our car there, get past him before we get to the brake zone. A little bit late on the brakes, but it just, keeps us there ahead, and we're now up into P5, so 2 positions in that lap. Still defending a little bit from Russell, but it's been a good lap there for us, making up 2 positions. Now, Charles Leclerc is trying to make his way through after that very poor qualifying, starting in P11. He's now actually going for a move on De Vries, around the outside of De Vries there. Great little move for Leclerc, bearing in mind that he is on the soft compound tyres, where pretty much everybody around him, or at least ahead of him, is on the mediums. So a bit of a different strategy going there, considering he got knocked out in Q2. Still, battles going on at the front. Tsunoda now leads the way. I believe, yeah, that was Tsunoda. Tsunoda now leads the way from, I believe, Alonso in second, and then Norris. So it's all changing over at the front, but looking good for Tsunoda at the moment, as we're now having to go defensive against Russell. Russell's really showing some good pace here once again after we got past him, but we've managed to defend into turn 1 and kept the position for now, but I do feel like Russell is going to be coming knocking, because we are a good 2.5 seconds away from Hamilton and the cars ahead. But then we go wide, we get stuck on the curb around that corner there, and oh, that's really screwed us over. We've been overtaken by Russell, Piastri, Leclerc, and now De Vries is trying to get past as well. Ocon is also shoving his way up the inside. We're going to try and go side by side with Esteban Ocon out of the hairpin here to try and stay ahead. A little bit of contact with the wall for us there, but we've managed to stay ahead of Ocon, but that is 4 positions we have just lost there. Just ran a bit too wide. The car just bottomed out on the curb and we lost the position, but we're showing good pace on De Vries, who doesn't have DRS, but now he's locked up and we've locked wheels going into the final corner. A little bit of dirty tactics there by De Vries. I'm just going to check for damage, because I was a little bit worried there with him, just braking, locking up the brakes and just going into us there, but we've managed to get ahead of De Vries, who's now having to defend a little bit from Ocon in the Alpine behind. But we're now back up into P8, but still we've got 3 positions that we've lost thanks to that issue. At the front though, and Tsunoda is leading the way, but Alonso is now coming through to take that win away from him, to take the lead away from him, but he doesn't quite manage to do it that time around. Tsunoda still just about hanging on to the lead at the moment. Norris has actually dropped back a little bit here. He's now down in 4th place here. You can see Hamilton's made a good move up to 3rd and is now going for a move on Alonso for 2nd place in this race. Hamilton would love to start the season with back-to-back victories, and that's what he's trying to do right now, going side by side with his old friend, an old foe, an old teammate, Fernando Alonso, and he's got past. What a great move for Hamilton there, now up into P2. Leclerc, though, is still on a move as well, as he goes for a little bit of a late move on George Russell there, and is now effectively up into, I think, P5, pretty much where we were before we made our mistake. So Leclerc making those soft tyres work. He could still get a very good result here in this race. Lap 12, and we're coming into the pits. We're one of the first drivers to come into the pits, actually. Pretty sure I don't think I went like a lap earlier than expected. I'm pretty sure I went when I was supposed to go from the get-go. Didn't override anything there, or wasn't told to go any earlier. But we're in. There are cars behind us in as well. Looks like Sainz and Iwasa, 2 cars behind us that have just come in. We're now onto the hard compound tyres, which we're going to take to the end of this race. So Let's see what we can do on the hards. To be fair, been pretty decent on hard compound tyres in this game. They seem to work quite a bit better than other games. At the front though, and well, Norris is actually, I think, or was that Hamilton's managed to take the lead now. Someone has, but now Tsunoda, as he comes out of the pits, has spun the car around. Oh no, what is going on here? We come round here, we get the absolute shock of our life and have to turn out at the last second to make sure we don't make contact with Tsunoda, who's now just sat in the middle of the track, and sure enough, that now deploys the safety car. And that's not really worked very well for us, because we had already come into the pits. Now, to be fair, most people had already come into the pits. Pretty much everyone had come into the pits, apart from one man, Nick de Vries. He had not come into the pits yet. He was coming into the pits as the safety car came out, and that's really helped him. It means he's jumped us in the pits. He's now up to P5. We're now in P6, so we've lost a little bit of position there, and we're already trying to get the jump on de Vries into turn 1 here, side by side with him, but he's just positioning his car well, and we're actually under fire a little bit from Russell, who we've managed to get back ahead of again, so that's at least worked out for us. But yeah, poor Tsunoda, he was leading this race, and he has spun out, just like Leclerc did actually, not from the lead, but Leclerc spun out in Bahrain, and now his teammate's done it here in Saudi. Spinala returns, I suppose, from the Sebastian Vettel days, as that's one of the Red Bulls getting up a position right there. Now this is Leclerc, who has now had his pit stop, is on the medium compound tyres, I believe, and he's now going for a move for the lead. Yes, he is now going for a move on Lando Norris for the lead of this race, and legitimately the lead of this race on just as fresher tyres as anyone else, and on faster tyres. Charles Leclerc takes the lead of this race from starting P11 on the road. Leclerc now leads. Hamilton is now trying to fight Norris for P2, but can't quite get that done, as now Alonso is having a little look at Hamilton to try and get back on the podium, but also has to just leave at the moment. But as they come to the end of this lap 21, Alonso now trying to have a look at Hamilton. Hamilton was having a look at Norris, but didn't quite have the room, and that has let Alonso get alongside Lewis Hamilton, and now they're going to go side by side down the main straight here. You've also got, is that Russell, or that might even be de Vries, to be honest. They're behind these guys, so de Vries actually keeping up with his teammate here at the moment. I mean, helped out by the safety car, but still, this is a big old gaggle of cars here, and it's pretty much a six-way fight for the lead right now, from Leclerc now in first place all the way back to myself here in 6th. It is essentially a 6-car battle for the lead, as there is still a battle going on between Hamilton and, well, Alonso and Norris, who seems to be struggling a little bit. Leclerc on those fresh medium tyres starting to pull away a bit now, so he's pulling out an absolute blinder. The safety car really helped him out here. I think even without the safety car though, he was going to be on for a really good result, and it doesn't help for everybody else. Well, it doesn't help for everyone else that they are now all fighting for this second position on the podium. Hamilton currently having that P2 in hand. Norris, though, under fire from Alonso, who's managed to get past and up into P3. De Vries is just behind these as well. I'm right at the back here as well, but just these guys constantly fighting ahead of me. I just don't have the room on a tight, twisty track like this one to really make any moves. I'm just kind of watching everything unfold ahead of me. But yeah, Norris now down into P4 off the podium. That McLaren does not seem to quite have the race pace here in Jeddah. Alonso now gone for the move on Hamilton for P2, and it's the last lap of the race, and I didn't even realise Alonso has taken P2 in this race, and this is the battle now for P4. Nick de Vries has just taken P4 from, or is it P5? No, it's P4 from Norris, so de Vries is going to finish P4. What a result for him in the Mercedes. 3-4 for Mercedes. It's Norris P5. We're going to come home P6. Didn't quite have the pace to quite keep with those guys right at the end, but I think P6 is a good enough result. We didn't quite have the pace here today, maybe helped a little bit by the safety car, but P6 for us, but it's a great win for Leclerc.
And that brings the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix to a close as we reflect on the team's impressive performance today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think the key here was just the quality of the racecraft, you know? I mean, how many overtakes did they make overall? I I'm sure we have a stat person keeping score somewhere, and it was fantastic to watch, wasn't it? This is a strategic sport at the end of the day, but it's always really gratifying to see close-fought battles on track. It's what all the fans are after.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
So it is a great result for Charles Leclerc. He missed out getting into Q3, qualified P11, but has come through to win the race. What a result for him. He would have been a bit down after qualifying, but definitely won't be down now. Fernando Alonso's pulled out a brilliant P2 in our car, so we were on the podium in race 1. He's on the podium here in race 2. He's definitely got the better of us this time around. Hamilton, though, the ever-consistent man, on the podium here once again. Of course, won in Bahrain. It's 3rd place for him here in Saudi, but that's going to keep his lead in the championship going. That 3rd place, like I said, P4 for Nick de Vries. That was a really good result for him. 5 for Norris, just didn't quite seem to have the race pace in the McLaren compared to quali pace. And then we came home P6, quite a big gap actually to Piastri behind. Russell fell back to P9, not sure what happened to him, but yeah, ended up P9 in the end with Piastri and Sainz in front of him. In the Drivers' Championship, yeah, like I said, Hamilton, he's still got like a 19-point lead ahead of the championship, because it's actually now Leclerc in 2nd place with that win. We're still there in 3rd, but it is very close from 2nd downwards, very close in the championship, but we are only 2 rounds in. And then in the Constructors, Mercedes still leading the way and extending their lead this time around with that good finish between both drivers. And we're still there in 3rd with McLaren 4th, McLaren 3rd, Ferrari 4th, Aston Martin 5th, and Red Bull in 6th. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.